Hi, yogis. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I miss seeing you guys in studios and out about in the neighborhood on the massage table, and I hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to apologize ahead of time for the sound quality. I tried ordering some of those Bluetooth headphones with a mic in it, but I was getting a lot of feedback in the recording, so I'm going to practice the skill of doing my best with what I have off the mat, this skill that I've learned in yoga and applying it to my day-to-day life. Sometimes a little frustration added, not always. If you like to use props during your practice, if you have them, great. And if you don't, lots of options that you can use while you're at home. If you like using a block, it can be really helpful if your hips are tight, your legs are tense. It can bring the earth up a little closer to meet you when it feels far away, whether you're reaching down or sitting on the ground. If you don't have a block, you can use a Kleenex box or a thick book. Pretty much anything about the same size and shape would do. On the same note, blanket. I'm guessing most of us have blankets at home, whether it's a big, comfortable comforter or something a little bit smaller than that. It should be fine. Something you can kind of fold up, roll up, squish up. Anything that you can use to either keep you warm or give you a little extra padding under the knees, those kinds of things. And then the only prop that I'm really going to be cueing with today specifically is a bolster. And my guess is most of you don't have bolsters, and that's totally fine. You can go and grab a couple of pillows off your bed. You can take that same blanket that you're using and scrunch it up nice and cozy and make it into this bolster kind of shape. Improvise in any way that you can, and if you have no props and would prefer not to use anything for assistance, know that that's completely okay too. This class is going to be beginner friendly. I'm not going to be doing a lot of physical cueing, so if you've never done yoga before or if you're new to yoga, just make sure that you're listening to your body. Everything we're doing should feel good, even if it feels challenging. So just be mindful to any sensations or maybe stop signs that your body throws at you throughout practice today, especially in these times where a lot of us have been spending a lot of time on the couch, sitting, and our bodies might not feel quite what they're used to feeling like. So sticking with a sense of curiosity throughout the practice. And all of that being said, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be doing some yoga to ground and land today. So whether you're taking this video in present time and you're getting caught up with all of the chaos of the reality in the world right now, or if you're taking this at some future date and there's something going on in your life or your monkey mind is just kind of taking you out of the present moment, this practice should help you recenter, come back to your grounding, to your roots, and find your breath. So that way we can meet the outside chaos with a sense of peace and calmness in our hearts and our minds. So let's go ahead and start in child's pose. Coming onto all fours, and if you have your bolster or that blanket or those pillows that I talked about, I encourage you to grab them now. This is the only time I'm going to really encourage that you grab a prop, because I want to start us off nice and cozy and checking in. So whether you have a bolster or pillows or a blanket, you're going to bring your knees nice and wide and snuggle those up in between the knees, and then extend your body forward. Your big toes will be touching. You can either come onto one cheek or you can bring your forehead down towards the earth. Now, for some of us with knee injuries, this pose might not make as much sense. If you have pain in the knees, if leaning forward this way causes aggravation, you can do a reclined version of our child's pose on your back, bending the knees in towards the heart and then opening them up towards the armpits with the big toes touching. So whichever version you're in, the major difference is on your back, you're going to feel compression in the back body. And if you're on your belly, you're going to feel compression in the front body. Whichever version you're in, see if you can start to arrive. Finding your breath and noticing it where it is without needing it to change. If you're able to bring the breath in and out through the nose and sending the breath all the way down to the low belly. If you're a visual learner, I'm going to be sitting up for some of this as I'm going to be talking. I want to make sure you can hear me. So see if you can stay in the pose and begin to settle. You may notice sensations in the low back, the upper mid-back. See if you can allow your body to grow heavy into whatever it's touching. So whether that's heart to bolster, heart to blanket, or maybe you're in spine to earth. Can you start to notice that resource, that support that you have underneath you? And then notice how the sensation of your breath changes as you follow the breath. And notice the parts of your body that might press more deeply into that support of the bolster or the ground, whatever it is that you're noticing. And as you scan your body, notice if there's any areas that feel like they're gripping, where there's a clench, a tightness, maybe some resistance. And can we take those energies and shift them to help bring us to a place of peace and acceptance? And that doesn't mean that anything has to change. Slowing down. If you haven't already, you might start to find a soft rock side to side in the head and the neck, massaging either the back of the head or the forehead, depending on what version you're in. If you are resting on one cheek, flipping to the other side to even out the neck, as we rest in our child's pose for just a few more nice full breaths. Great. And now if you're face down, we're going to really slowly press up just a little bit. Yogi's choice, you can either leave your props where they are. If they're in the way, you can scooch them out of the way as we start to walk our hands over towards the left side. See if you can stay grounded in that right sit bone. So your right hip's probably gonna want to pop up. Can you keep it pressing towards the support of the earth as you reach your hands away from you? Let your head and neck be soft, maybe bringing the right palm to stack on top of the left hand. And if you're in the reclined version, you can simply reach your arms over to one side, up and overhead. We'll take a couple more breaths. And then rooting into both sit bones, we're going to slowly walk our hands over to the other side. Rooting into the opposite sit bone. The left palm may come to stack on top of the right hand. If you're in that reclined version, reaching up and overhead, just like you're waking up, getting out of bed for the first time this morning. Relax the jaw and the shoulders. One more breath. Let's walk it back in towards center. If you're on your back, go ahead and flip to all fours to meet us face down in tabletop. And if you haven't already, go ahead and scooch your prop up to the side. If you'd like a little extra padding under the knees, this is where you can grab your blanket, fold it, place it underneath you. Always the option to also fold your mat and give yourself a little extra cushion that way. For now, let's keep the knees nice and wide, big toes to touch. And we're going to start to draw some small hips with the circles. One direction, the direction of your choosing. An option to start making the circles a little bit bigger if you have the space and if your body wants to move any bigger. Sometimes as we find stress in our bodies, we don't really want to expand right away. Our nervous system wants to keep us coming inward. So if your body's not ready for it, no need to push here. We're going to take 2 or 3 more circles in this direction. And then start to spiral them back inwards, making them smaller again. Almost like you're churning from your core, or as if you had a marker in your belly button. You are drawing spirals on the mat. We're going to go ahead and reverse, taking circles in the opposite direction, keeping them nice and small to start. Making them bigger if it feels like you have the room. Exaggerating this as much as you'd like. Let's take a couple more, and then when you're ready, starting to spiral them back inwards again, making them nice and small. And pausing as you return to center. We're going to press into the tops of the feet, shift the left hand to the midline, and as you inhale, we're going to reach the right hand up towards the sky into a soft twist. If you'd like a little deeper of a stretch, you can flex that right hand. And then release, right hand comes to the midline. We press into the right hand as we inhale, lift the left hand up. See if you can stack the hand over the shoulder, maybe flex that palm. Good, one more inhale. And exhale, coming back down. And this time we're going to take our wide hands, stack them under the shoulders, bring the knees into hip width distance. So bringing them in a little bit. We're going to tuck the toes right behind the knees, and then pull your belly in and up. Check in with the supportive core that you have here, and then use your core to pull the knees up and hover over the earth. Just an inch or two for a few breaths here, starting to wake up the belly. Wake up this fire inside, this life force, this energy that supports you, that's there for you, no matter what's happening around you. Keep the elbows soft. Take one more big breath in. And as you exhale, slowly start to straighten the legs. Let the heels grow heavy. Keep at least a micro bend in the knees and the elbows. Let your head grow heavy. Maybe shake it a little yes and no. So in our Adho Mukha Svanasana, our downward facing dog, the goal is to find a nice long spine. It's not to get your heels to touch. And then feeling a stretch in the backs of the legs, the calves, the hamstrings. As the fronts of the thighs spiral inwards, allow the biceps to spiral outwards, really pressing into the palms to find that length, that lift in the tailbone. One more breath in. As you exhale, bend your knees halfway, soft bend in the elbows, take your gaze forward. We're going to take a really slow walk of hands towards feet. See if you can slow this down, really undulating through the soles of your feet. Getting a little bit of a self-massage here as you work your way into a standing forward fold, or Uttanasana. From the top of the mat, keep as much of the bend in the knees here as you need or as you'd like. If you're flexible and you're warmed up, be mindful that you're not locking up the knee joints, putting too much pressure on the knees here. From here, you can get creative, maybe grab opposite elbows, sway a little side to side. If your feet are sore, maybe give your toes a little squeeze. You can take a soft bend in one leg and then the other. Find something that allows you to come back to your breath here. Feel that grounding in the feet, that arrival. And then take a nice deep bend in the knees. Almost like you're sitting back into a chair. And from here, we're going to slowly start to roll up. Let your arms stay heavy. Head is the very last thing to come up as we float up on the inhale. From our mountain pose, we're going to gently tuck the chin, bring the palms to face forward, and then bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. Either find a drishti, that soft spot on the earth, that unmoving, grounding focal point, or if it feels safe, allow the eyes to close. Scan your body. Notice if any of that gripping is still here. If you are able to release some of it, sometimes it stays away, and sometimes it creeps back in. So meeting yourself in this standing mountain pose, our Tadasana, with acceptance. Taking one more breath in. Big breath out through the mouth. Maybe sigh it out. Take two more just like that. Breathing in through the nose. Big exhale. Last time, breathing in. Let's take the gaze back up or flutter the eyes open. Bring your hands back at your sides and step your feet a little wider than hip distance. We're going to find a soft sway side to side. Let the arms be floppy here. Let your soft fists maybe give your hips a massage. You might bring it up a little higher into the low back, maybe into the thighs. And then notice what happens with your breath. You go right into a clenching, or are you able to keep that softness in the shoulders, the neck? Can you keep that relationship with your breath? Smooth breath in and full breath out. And from here, we're going to go ahead and release that. Take the fingertips to interlace. We're going to press into the palms. Bring them in front of you, up and overhead as you inhale. As you exhale, plug your shoulders down into their sockets. So if you feel like you're reaching up for dear life, see if you can bring that back down. Maybe even bring a soft bend into the elbows here. Soft side bend. We're going to inhale, pressing up and over to the left. And coming through center, big inhale. Exhale over to the opposite side. Inhaling to come up. And then exhaling, bring the palms to the back of the head for a little standing cat-cow. So thinking of that cat-cow that we didn't do, out fours, that was my plan. We're going to find it in standing instead for Tadasana. So grounding into the feet, elbows are shining out towards the sides. Imagine that you're holding a pencil here between your shoulder blades. And as we inhale, we're going to bring the elbows back behind us, sweep the gaze up. And then as you exhale, take the gaze down towards the navel, the belly button as the elbows come in together, the spine rounds. Inhale to extend the spine, look up, open the heart space. And then exhale to bring it back in. And start to find a dynamic version of this movement following your breath. Allowing your breath to guide the pose, as opposed to the other way around. Listening to that wisdom in your body. Let's take one more. Inhale to open up. And exhale, we're going to release. From here, finding a little neck and shoulder relief, we're going to start to draw some circles with the nose in one direction. Start nice and small again, just like we did with the hips. And then bringing the circle a little bit bigger, if that serves you in this moment, if that feels good. And if you can make the circle big enough, you might even start to imagine that you were smearing your nose along the ground, along the ceiling. And then start to spiral it back in again, making it a little bit smaller. Noticing those places you can stay grounded, your core, your feet. And then once the circle gets so small, you've stopped moving, go ahead and reverse. Small circles in the opposite direction. And any places you feel that are especially tight, maybe slowing down there, maybe even pausing for a breath or two. And then starting to bring the circle smaller again. Stopping when you arrive in the center. From here, let's go ahead and drop the gaze down. See if you can keep your shoulder blades squeezing together so the back stays nice and neutral here. We're not rounding forward this time, but we're keeping the collarbones nice and long. And then inhale to look up. Do that a few times, exhaling to look down. Inhaling to look up. Keeping it going, noticing any cracks, any old creaky, dusty spots without judgment. Just noticing. And then we'll find a soft vinyasa flow with our Brahma Dandasana, pausing in center. If you prefer a more traditional vinyasa, you're welcome to take it. We're working with our Brahma Dandasana, so from our mountain pose, facing forward, we're gonna bring our hands to the heart. We're gonna take this first round nice and slow, then we're gonna do 3 rounds dynamically. On the inhale, you're gonna soften the knees, reach out at your sides, scoop up a big breath as the fingertips come all the way up towards the sky. As you exhale, keep your back flat as your arms drop to T and you hinge forward halfway. We're gonna stop and we're parallel with the earth. So you're kind of in this L shape. Notice if your tailbone feels like it wants to rock up towards the sky, and if it does, see if you can engage your belly muscles to find this nice flat back here. Soft knees, grounding into the 4 corners of the feet, the back 2 corners of the heels, the base of the big toe, the baby toe. And then from here, moving just the arms. As you inhale, we're going to sweep our arms forward as we keep the belly tucked, the tailbone tucked. And taking one more breath here, Delicious. You're reaching forward for something, finding length. And then as you exhale, soften the knees forward, fold. Give the head and neck another little shake here on this first round. Taking it nice and slow. And then pressing into the feet, we're going to inhale, bring the arms out at the side. Scoop up another big breath as you come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands are going to cut down the midline and pause at the heart. Anjali Mudra into Tadasana. Let's take 3 more versions. I'm going to talk you through the first 2. The third one, I'm going to let you follow your breath. If you have the hang of it, go ahead and go off on your own. Inhale, we're going to scoop up a big breath. Exhale, hinging forward, halfway, arms to T. Inhale to reach forward. Exhale, release, forward fold, soft knees. Inhale to come up, reaching. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale to scoop up a breath. Exhale to fold halfway. Inhale to reach, just the hands pressed back with the tailbone. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe imagine some worries are spilling up the crown of your head. Pressing into the feet, inhaling to reach out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's take one more. Don't worry about getting it right. Expanding open on inhales. Releasing on exhales. We'll meet in our Tadasana with hands to the heart. Pause just in a moment. Notice your heart rate. Notice how you feel. Release the hands. We're going to take another big breath in. Exhale. This time find a forward fold or Uttanasana. So you can bend the knees here if you'd like. We're going to be taking this into our Utkatasana, our chair pose. So if you're not already, bring your feet hip width distance, root of the 4 corners of the feet, and then we're going to start to bend into the knees, almost like you're sitting back towards a stool. So instead of pointing behind you, the tailbone is going to be down. Let the neck be nice and relaxed to start, and then keep this bend in the knees. As you inhale, sweep your arms forward and up, palms will face each other. So notice what's happened in the tailbone here. If your tailbone's starting to reach behind you, see if you can tuck it down. We're going to take this into a dynamic flow, sticking with our breath. Let's find cactus arms, 90-degree bends in the elbows out at the sides. Imagine you have that pencil between your shoulder blades. Opening the heart, opening the collarbone. As we inhale, we're going to straighten the legs, reach the arms up, look up. Exhale, like you're pulling something down from the ceiling, bend the knees, find your seat. Maybe find your biceps. Not for a workout, but just inhaling to reach up, exhaling to come down. So not so much for a workout, but just find this engagement, finding your strength. And exhaling to come down. We'll do just a couple more. Only go as deep down as you need to. So this is more of an exercise of joining the mind, the body, the breath, and noticing sensation, creating some body awareness. It's not to burn calories, to lose weight. We're going to go ahead and pause here and share. Inhale, reach the arms forward. One more big breath in. Exhale, keep the knees bent as you forward fold. If this feels good, you can stay here as long as you'd like with the torso draped over the legs, or you can start to straighten the legs for more of a stretch in the hamstrings and the calves. Soften the knees. And this time as we come up, we're going to reach our arms at our sides, inhaling to scoop up our breath. Exhaling to slide the hands down to the heart. Pause here. We're going to take a little warrior one flow. So we're going to start by stepping the right leg back. You want the leg to be far enough back where the toes are pointing out to the side. You can keep the heel on the ground. If you're coming up into a lunge and the heel's coming up, then try stepping out or forward a little bit. So making your base not quite as wide or not quite as narrow. Bend into the front left knee. Make sure you can see your big toe, hands to hips, square the hips. And then from here, we're going to inhale to reach up. Pausing for a breath or two, I'm going to turn so you can see me here with my alignment. Notice the ground underneath you, that resource. The support of the earth. No matter what's happening in your mind, can you come back to your breath? As your thoughts start to take you away, can you come back to the sensation of the inhale in and the exhale out? We're going to find another flow here. I'm taking one more breath in. And as you exhale, bring your arms down at your sides, cactus arms. This time as we inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the arms up, maybe look up. Exhale, deep bend in the front knee and the elbows. Two more, just like that. Inhaling to reach up. Exhale to come down. Inhale to come up. And exhale to come down, bringing some mobility into the hips. A place that tends to have a lot of gripping, a lot of that resistance. Can you let it be? Release the arms, step the back foot forward. We're going to take this on the opposite side. So the left foot's going to step back now. Heel stays onto the earth as we take that deep bend in the right knee. Take a moment to build a solid foundation where you don't feel too wobbly. And then go ahead and sweep your arms out and up. And checking in with sensation here. Noticing how this side feels. If your hip's a little bit tighter on one side than the other, they might feel a little bit different. Allow your gaze to fall on a drishti, that unmoving object, down the bridge of your nose on the earth. And we'll go ahead and take that flow 3 times. As you exhale, bring your arms down. Taking your cactus arms, expanding the heart. Inhaling, straighten the front leg, reach the arms. Exhale, bring it down. 2 more. Inhaling to reach up, straighten the leg. Exhaling to come down. Last one. Inhaling. And exhaling. Pausing for a breath. Let's release the arms. Step the back foot forward. Mountain pose. We're gonna take one more warrior one float. So stepping the left foot back again. Coming into our warrior one with the arms up. And taking a couple breaths. And then we're going to move into a pyramid pose version of this. So I'm going to come over to the side so you can see me. The back foot's going to remain down. We're going to extend the back leg. You can take a little bend in the knee if you'd like, but keep a nice deep bend in the front knee. As we inhale, we're going to straighten the front leg. Release the hands and interlace the fingertips behind the tailbone. As the knuckles reach down, the chest is going to naturally open up and expand. Take one breath in here to find some length in the spine. As you exhale, pull that right hip crease back as you hinge forward halfway. Ground evenly into the feet. Notice where your thoughts go and see if you can come back to your breath. Option to stay here. If you'd like more of a stretch in the back of that right thigh, the left hand is going to come down to the inside of the foot or to a block or a Kleenex box if you have that handy. Opposite hand reaches up to the sky for our revolved triangle, or Parivrtta Trikonasana. Let's take one more breath in. And exhale to release. Soft bend in both knees as you press back up to standing. Left foot's going to step up, and then right foot's going to step back. Coming right back into our warrior one. Taking a moment to land, to arrive in the pose. And then when you're ready, the arms can extend overhead. You can take a little bit of a bend in the elbows here. You can give yourself some space. Don't worry too much about the alignment being perfect. And then on the next inhale, we're going to straighten that front leg. Release the hands, interlace them behind the tailbone. Extend the knuckles down to open the heart. And take a big breath in here. Exhale, hinging forward. Pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Find that length in the spine from the tip of your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. So letting go of some of that crunching that we hold in the neck and the shoulders. And then yogi's choice, if you'd like, you can release the hand to the inside of the foot as the opposite hand reaches up for the sky, Parivrtta Trikonasana. If you prefer, you can always just fold a little bit deeper into your pyramid pose as well without adding this twist. Let's take one more big breath in. And then relax. Coming out. We're going to step the back foot forward and land in our Uttanasana, our standing forward fold for a moment. Keep as much of a bend in your knees as you'd like, as always. Find a little bit of a sway. Or find stillness. What will serve you most in this moment? And then soft bend the knees, press into the feet. Inhale, reach your arms out at your sides as you come and rise again. See if you can stretch a little bit taller. Exhale, hands to the heart. Place one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, and check in. Check in with your heart rate, with your mood. And release the hands. And then we're going to turn lengthwise on our mat. So if you were facing the short edge of your mat, you're going to go ahead and turn, and we're going to bring our feet nice and wide. So wider than hip width distance. Let the toes come out, the heels come in. And as we bend into the knees, you want to make sure that the knees are pressing behind you so you start feeling this opening in the hips, this other place where we tend to hold a lot of tension. Neck and shoulders and hips and the low back are two of the most common areas for us to clench when things aren't going the way that we would like them to be. Bringing your hands onto the tops of your thighs, near your knees. We're going to take the right shoulder and drop it toward the midline. Take your gaze back behind you on the left. Press into the feet as you inhale and come up. Exhale, opposite side. Front of the left shoulder is going to drop towards the midline. Gaze comes back behind you on the right. Do that in your own time, once more on each side. If there's a specific spot that needs to stretch, slow down there, pause. Opposite side. Inhale to come up. We're going to keep this squat for one more breath. And then press into the feet. Straighten the legs. Let's bring the heels out so the feet are parallel. Hands to hips in our power pose. Pausing here, taking some nice big breaths. In fact, go ahead and take the biggest breath in you've taken so far today. Big exhale. Awesome. Let's find our warrior two. We're going to turn our left toes out toward the side so our foot is parallel with the long edge of our mat. And go ahead and bend into that left knee. Extend your arms out to T. Staying grounded in the four corners of each foot as they intersect each other. And then take your gaze over towards your left fingertips, if that feels okay in the neck. And can you allow the weight of your body to come into your feet, and then can you feel the earth pressing back up to meet you, right where you're at? Finding a soft flow here from our warrior two. As we inhale, we're going to extend the leg, bring the palms up together to touch. Exhale, bend into the knee, warrior two. Two more, just like that. Inhaling to reach up. You can look up if you'd like. Exhale, warrior two. One more with your breath. Pausing in our warrior two. And then finding our triangle pose, we're going to straighten that left leg. Inhale to find length. As you exhale, imagine someone's holding you from your left fingertips and they're pulling you forward. So we're finding this length, and then we're going to tick-tock down. So as you find this engagement, this strength, this contraction on the left side of the body, the left or the right side of the body has all this room to open up. Breathe into the ribs. Imagine that you're sending the breath more into the right lung. As you reach up, option to bring your hand to your hip as well and let your elbow point up towards the sky. See which feels better for you today. One more breath in. Big breath out. Press into both feet as you inhale and come back up through center. We'll repeat that on the opposite side. If you want to feel a little bit of a burn today, a little bit of heat, you can keep the arms up. If you need a break like I do, you can bring your hands right back down to your hips. As we switch, pointing the right toes out. The left foot's going to be parallel to the short edge of the mat. We're going to bend into that right knee. Find our warrior two alignment. And then reach your arms to T. Check in with your breath. Take your gaze over your right hand. Scan your body for any signs of that clenching. And if you do notice it, can you offer it some tolerance, some forgiveness, maybe some breath? And then inhaling to extend the right leg, reaching up, maybe looking up. Exhale, sink back down into your warrior two. Two more, just like that. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Last one. Pausing here for just a moment. And then inhaling to straighten that leg. Exhaling to slide as if someone was pulling you from the right fingertips. Maybe someone that you're stuck at home with. They want your attention. And then, nope, we're going to tick-tock down. Hand comes down to the shin or hovers over the earth as the left fingertips stack over the shoulder up towards the sky. See if you can keep your heart open here. So we are in the tendency of collapsing forward and hunching forward, can you keep this expansion that you've created, this strength, this flexibility? And if you don't feel strong or flexible, can you fake it till you make it? There's really a lot to be said for that, for putting the judgment aside and doing it anyways. All right, let's go ahead and press into the feet as if someone has grabbed you by the fingertips above. They're going to help us up, sliding up. Drop the hands to the hips. We're going to bring both toes out again, heels in. Hands to hips for our power pose. Take a big breath in here. Big exhale. Bring our toes in just a bit. One more big inhale. Lift the heart, then as you exhale, we're going to find a forward fold or Prasarita Padottanasana. So we're not going for a super deep fold here. We're just looking for a little bit of release in the hamstring muscles, the backs of the legs. Take a soft bend in your knees and then inhale, press into the feet as you roll up. Your arms can be either up or heavy at your sides. Bring the heels in, bring your toes in. And go ahead and do that all the way back into center. We're going to start bringing it a little bit lower to the mat. We're going to take one round of Brahma Dandasana before we bring it a little bit lower. So hands to the heart, mountain pose Tadasana. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Next inhale, reach the arms out as you scoop up a breath. Exhale, hinge forward, arms to T, we fold halfway. Inhale to reach the fingertips forward, find that length, that expansion, that space, take up some space, and then as you exhale, fold forward. We're going to stay here, giving the head and neck one last shake. And then really slowly bend your knees so you can bring your hands down to the earth. And we're going to come all the way down to all fours. Let your hips sink back for child's pose. Forehead comes down to the earth. If child's pose is too much in your body, instead of flipping over this time, you're going to go ahead and shift the knees back. Drop the elbows down to the earth under the shoulders, and then release your heart and your forehead to the ground, stacking the hips over the knees. Whichever version you're in, send some breath down the spine. Notice if anything feels different. Then we're going to go ahead and slide forward. So you might think of a cobra coming out of its den or rolling a marble with your nose. So we're going to really slowly start to slide our face forward. Come all the way forward onto the belly. Don't worry what it looks like. As long as you arrive on your belly, you're good. We're going to go ahead and bring forearms to the earth. Bent elbows underneath the shoulders for our Sphinx pose. In Sphinx pose, if there's any discomfort in the low back, any pinching sensation, anything like that, go ahead and scooch the elbows forward so that way you're not crunching up. Find the version that works best for you. And then from here, press into the pubic bone. If you feel crunched in the middle, you can kind of scooch your feet and hips back like I am. Pressing into pubic bone to help lift the heart. And then grounding down into the tops of the feet. So we're keeping that connection to this resource of the earth below us, finding our grounding. And as we ground, we also expand and open up the heart space. Even if there are busy thoughts, even if there's sensation, can you be present with it without needing it to change? One more breath in. And exhale, release all the way to the belly. Make a little pillow for yourself. Your hands rest on one cheek. We're going to bend our knees, bring our feet up, and then sway your feet a little side to side to release the low back. We are going to take 3 rounds of our locust pose. The first one is going to be nice and slow, and then we're going to do 3 dynamically with our breath. So go ahead and release the legs down. If the feet are super wide, bring them in a little bit closer to hip width distance. Resting on the tops of the feet. Our arms this time we're going to extend at our sides, so our fingers point towards our toes. Forehead's going to be down on the earth to start. Keep the chin tucked, so we don't want to crunch the back of the neck. And as you inhale, we're going to start to reach for the toes so much that we start to peel up off of the earth. Notice the strength in the back body that's there to help lift you up, to open and expand your heart space. Palms can either be facing each other or up. Notice what feels good. Palms facing each other is going to help to open up the shoulders even more. And if you'd like a little bit more, you can start to point the toes so much that the legs hover. One more breath. And then exhale to let everything go. Take a rest here. We do that 3 times dynamically with our breath, following your breath, and you get to decide how high or how low you go today. So extending the arms at the sides. Feet can either join in this movement or they can stay down. As you inhale, we're going to use the expansion of the breath to peel up, reaching the fingers for the toes, maybe pointing and reaching the toes, and then exhaling to come down. 2 more. Inhale to lift and reach. Exhale to release. Last one. And letting it go. And slide the hands under the shoulders and press up to all 4s. I'm going to squeeze in a quick cat-cow that we missed at the beginning, or that I missed at the beginning, just to help release the spine here. So rock the hips side to side a few times. And then as you inhale, we're going to extend the spine, drop the belly, look up. As you exhale, rounding in, take the gaze towards the belly button. Inhale to expand the front body. And then exhale to bring it in. Go ahead and take 1 or 2 more, following your breath and your time. And then when you're ready, use an exhale to sit back towards child's pose. Take a breath or 2, and then when you're ready, come back up. We're going to cross the ankles and then come onto our bottoms with the feet wide. If you have that cozy comforter, that bolster, that pillow, you're welcome to grab it here if you'd like to bring the earth a little closer to meet you, maybe a block or Kleenex box. So with the feet wide, the toes up, the hands are going to come down to the earth or to whatever prop you have. As we start to cool it off, notice that grounding in your sit bones again. Let them grow really, really heavy. Almost like you have bowling balls in your hips, anchoring you to earth. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, start to walk the hands forward. This might be a really small movement. Hands to earth might be enough of a stretch. If you have the space, you can come into as deep of a fold as you'd like, whether it's on the prop or hands to earth, whatever version you're in. Go ahead and drop your chin towards your chest. Finding a little release. Shifting from that place of gripping, of fear. Taking that energy of resistance and moving it into a place of our acceptance, of peace. If your feet are flexed, see if you can completely relax the feet, relax the ankles. Begin to soften the jaw. And if it feels nice, you might rock your head a little side to side again. When you're ready, we're going to use an inhale to slowly come back up. Walking the hands in, stacking the head over the hips. If you were using a prop, we're going to place that off at the side. If your hips are tight and you do have a strap or that rope, this would be a good time to use it. So just make sure it's at your side. Bring our hands underneath our knees, guide them in towards the midline, and work our way back onto our spine. As you come onto your back, go ahead and bring your knees in, hands to knees. Draw some circles with the knees to find some massage in the low back, maybe even into the hips a little bit. Any size. And then reversing the circle after you've gone one direction a few times. See if you can isolate your core muscles so you're not forcing your legs and hips to work too hard here. So looking for the resources, and when we feel overwhelmed, looking for the helpers. As I've been saying that a lot lately. I think I just stole a Mr. Rogers quote. Coming back into center, but looking for other options. What can assist us here? Is it a prop? Is it a breath? When we're off the mat, same thing. What do we need to find some peace in the moment without needing it to change? Okay, we're going to stretch the legs a little bit. So the sole of the left foot's going to come down to the ground. As you inhale, we're going to extend the right foot up towards the sky. So if your hamstrings are tight, you have any hip issues, you're probably going to want to keep a nice deep bend in this knee. No need to force. Just breathe into the stretch in the back of the leg. And then if you have that strap, you can bring it over the top of the foot. Otherwise, just holding the back of the leg will do. Allow your shoulders to relax, your jaw to soften. And then bringing this stretch a little more into the hip, we're going to bend into that right knee. Place the right foot on the top of the left knee. So we're finding this kind of a figure four position. If this is enough of a stretch, you can stay here, maybe using that right hand to press your knee away from you, exploring some sensation here. Or if you'd like a little bit more, you can press up off that left foot and squeeze both knees in towards the heart. Maybe the right elbow presses the right knee away as the left knee comes in. Never forcing, scanning for sensation, meeting it with breath. Starting to notice the sounds of the breath, the temperature, that coolness of the inhale as it washes in through the nostrils, and that subtle warmth of the exhale as we release the breath. Let's take one more breath in. And release both feet to floor with the knees bent. Pause here. All right, we're going to do that on the other side. So grounding into the right foot, inhale, extend the left leg up. Even if you can straighten the leg, if you have the flexibility, keep at least a micro bend to help protect your knee. Have a little compassion and kindness in these poses. Breathing into the back of the leg. Notice how the breath changes the stretch. The tendency when we meet difficulty or challenge is often to hold our breath, and that doesn't serve us at all. It makes everything we're doing, our thought processes, our physical processes of our body slow down. We don't work as efficiently. So as much as we can pause in times of stress and discomfort and find our breath, the more we're going to be able to respond from a place of who we really are, that highest self. And take one more breath. And go ahead and bend into the left knee. Foot comes to the top of the right knee. You can either pause here, maybe pressing the knee away, or bringing that right knee in towards the heart. Option to use the left elbow to press the left knee away. And keep breathing.
One more breath in. And then use your exhale to release both feet down to the earth, arms at your sides. You have just a couple more poses. If you feel like your shoulders are up towards your ears, we're going to take a moment to walk the shoulders down and snuggle the shoulder blades under the heart space. Find this expansion in the chest as you inhale and start to press into the feet to lift the hips up. As you exhale, slowly release your spine, one vertebra at a time, coming back down to the earth. And two more just like that. Inhaling to press up. Seeing if you can extend the movement to match the full length of the breath. Pausing at the top, and then following the exhale as you release down. One more round. Your tailbone will land as your exhale ends. Let's bring the knees back in towards the heart, hands to knees. Ending with a little wave breath to massage the spine and to reestablish and enforce that connection that we have to our breath. As we inhale, we're going to let the lift of the belly press the knees back up over the hips. As you exhale, the belly will fall, let the knees fall in towards the heart. Inhale, knees come over the hips. And exhale, knees to heart. Keep that going. Let your breath be your guide. Take one more round. And then the next time you inhale, go ahead and let your feet come all the way down to the earth and bring them a little bit wider. Bring your arms out at your sides to T or to cactus arms. We're going to drop both of our knees over to the right side. Option to take your gaze over to the left in this reclined twist. Inhale, take everything back through center. And exhale, let the knees drop over to the left. Option to drop your gaze over to the right. Inhale through center. And if there's any last movements your body is craving, you can take them now. Otherwise, when you're ready, you can start to work your way towards Shavasana by extending the legs and allowing the arms to rest at your sides. Palms can be face up or face down, or sometimes it can feel really good to bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. Find your version and take a moment to get comfortable. So if you have those props that you've grabbed, your blanket, your blocks, maybe a pillow, go ahead and get cozy. We're only going to be here for a minute or two. If you prefer a longer Shavasana, take a moment to pause the video or bring the computer over closer to you so you can stop it when I start talking again. So from your back, inner Shavasana. We're going to start to signal to the nervous system that it's time to slow down, time to relax. So we're going to take a really soft grip in the feet, clenching the toes. Let that grip spread up through the calves, tensing the hamstrings, the quads, the hips. And then let that clench into the hands, the fingers. Let it spread up the forearms, the biceps, the shoulders. And then soften, release. Clench up the belly, tighten the abdominals, scrunch the face like you just bit into a lemon, make a funny face. Scrunch the scalp, the eyebrows, and then release. Allow your feet and your legs to grow heavy. Allow your hands and your arms to soften and sink down into the earth. Soften the jaw. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. We'll remain here for another minute or two, breathing, and I'll let you know when it's time to come back. Begin to deepen your breath. Find a soft wiggle in the fingers and the toes. You might bring your gaze side to side or reach overhead in a full body stretch. Eventually allowing this movement to bring the knees back in. Give them one last squeeze. And then we'll rock over to one side and pause. Pressing back up to seated. We'll end in our seated Sukhasana pose today, or any pose that feels good in your body. Take a moment to bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. The gaze soft down on a drishti, or allow the eyes to close one final time. Arrive here. Allow these benefits of your practice to sink in and to follow you off the mat. You've put in the work. Now we get to enjoy the fruits of our labor. So even if your mind still feels a little busy, maybe you don't feel quite as calm or peaceful, or maybe as flexible as you were hoping, can that be enough? Can you be enough just as you are? Let me rephrase that. Can you know that you're enough? Because you are. Let's bring the hands together at the heart for our Anjali Mudra to seal in our practice. It is always such an honor to share my practice with friends, family, yogis around the city, around the world, as we explore this new virtual reality that we've been diving into and seeing so much room for growth, for possibility, for change, for the good. And thank you so much for sharing your time with me during all of this. I know there's a lot of different yoga options out there.
the light, the potential, and the yogi in me bows to the very same light, potential, and yogi in you. Namaste. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you're feeling a little bit better, a little bit looser. This was my first video, so I'm sure there's going to be little mistakes here and there. And if you know me personally, you know I'm extremely technologically challenged. So I am asking for any sort of feedback, whether it's constructive criticism or something that you enjoyed. And I'm hoping to be making a lot more videos as we all spend this time at home, so we can keep our bodies moving and continue to come back and to the mat and build these benefits of yoga and strengthen our practice, because it really does follow you off the mat. And I'm so excited when I get a chance to share that with you guys. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope to see you soon.